He's the host of the Sean Salisbury Show every morning, Monday through Friday on Sportstalk 790 in Houston. Sean, I've mentioned the last 2 hours. I'm not going to litigate this. This isn't about, I'm not court TV. This is just me, in my level of expertise, is the football aspect of Deshaun Watson and where the Houston Texans are. So we appreciate you joining us, and I hope you understand how I'm coming at this. I don't care, how salacious the details are. The allegations are serious here. But what is the mood? What do you think? What's the local reaction here in Houston with what's going on with Deshaun Watson?
Yeah, Dan, and I'm with you. The irresponsibility that goes with I don't know, and this is about the sports part because it's a very sensitive, serious situation for both sides, and they all deserve due process. Dan, it's a very well. If you want controversy and stuff that's gone on, Houston seems to be the place to find it the last year and a half when it comes to sports, and this is obviously to another level of seriousness. There's a mix, Dan. There's like we're talking about when it comes to the legality of it, of letting due process take. But when it comes to the sports process of, there's conspiracy theories and there's what are the Texans going to do now? Or was this plan? You hear it all. And now if you were a team that was interested in Deshaun, we're a team that was interested in Deshaun Watson. Are you still? Are the Texans now putting themselves in position where the value of him goes down? What's going to happen with the commissioner? They've been very sensitive here. And it's like the fans here and the local talk here is hard to fathom, knowing what going into this just 6 months ago, he'd signed a new contract and he was the darling of this town and obviously still deserves due process. But I think it's more gut wrenching than anything that people can't believe they're in this position, whether it's true or whether it's not, Dan.
I know the Texans have said publicly they're not trading him and they're not entertaining offers. Do you think the Texans have entertained offers on Deshaun Watson?
I do. And I don't, that's just my opinion, Dan, and haven't been in this business, in the sports business, and seen it for a long time. They'd be stupid not to. I'm talking about this is pre all this, even with this, to not take calls. Why wouldn't you? You always, the phone, I'm answering the phone no matter what. Now, I understand Deshaun Watson, the player, is phenomenal, and it would take a haul to get him. But why wouldn't you take calls on it's your business. You got to do what's best for your team. If somebody wanted to call and offer you 6 first-rounders, you got to listen. So I do believe in my heart, whether they're serious in accepting them or going to trade him, I understand why they'd want to draw a line in the sand and say, listen, we're not trading him. This guy is a big-time asset in the league as a football player. But I also know in my mind that you'd be an idiot not to take calls on a guy and just file them away, considering you may get one that you just can't turn down. So I believe in my heart, while they may tell us one thing, that they're taking, because that's a good business move to take calls on an asset like Deshaun.
How much credibility has he built up in the city? Prior to all of this, how was Deshaun Watson viewed on and off the field?
Biggest star in the town, Dan. I mean, off the field, a charitable guy, cared, involved in now, like some of the restaurant stuff. He was held in the highest regard you could hold a player in this town. I mean, in the past, Elijah has been held such high regard. There's been so many that have come through here. He was a guy that basically could do no wrong. And Dan, when this first started about him not wanting to play here, it was like 98% of their, damn near 100% of the people I talked to were all Watson all the time, right? Now, I don't know how that's changed with this on the perception, nobody's guilty yet, but on the perception of it. But I have heard more whispers, on my show, of people calling in and saying, man, I started out, Deshaun can do no wrong. But now as they continue to come out, that it makes like anybody say, well, what happened here? How did it get to this point on both sides? So, but Dan, there's people that are going to, and as we should, let due process take its course. But this guy was held, just as you can imagine, somebody in other cities around the country, their star, Deshaun Watson was that guy to this city. And in many points, for some people, still is, at least even the last few days, of people that have called in my show.
Who runs this franchise? Like, who is the person that's in charge of everything?
If I had money and had to bet it, Dan, I would say that the guy who's running this franchise is Jack Easterby. I would. I don't think you're making many decisions that aren't run by his desk. Now I know
what's his role?
Well, we don't know. He came from a chaplain. Put it this way: of guys that are in his position of power, very few have had a resume as empty to be in that position of power. Now, I've never met him. I'm always willing to give a guy benefit of doubt. Now, all these articles that have come out on the dysfunction in the franchise and Jack, but I can't fathom with decisions that have been made about personnel, not only players, Dan, but people from, equipment, staff, everything. I don't believe. Now, I think Nick Caserio is making a lot of these football decisions as he should, because his resume says top shelf and should be in this position. He should be the one making all the decisions when it comes to football. But Bill Belichick's admit Jack's not a personnel guy. And I think Cal McNair has.
But he's a former team chaplain.
Yes, right. Yes. Yeah, yes, he is. And a character coach. But he has found a way in this thing, just from my knowledge and the way people are talking and things I've read and heard, that there's very few things that are going by or decisions that are being made on anything in that building that Jack doesn't have insight in. So I actually think, well, if Cal signs the paychecks, I think Jack's making most of the decisions and they're letting Nick do the football stuff. But I don't believe Nick's making football decisions just based on here's what I want. I think you're clearing everything. And if Deshaun Watson were to stay or get traded, no matter where this goes, Dan, I think that Jack Easterby would be a guy who's going to have a lot of say in it. There is the dysfunction and quite frankly, the talk of a cultish feeling in the building this is all all this stuff that's going on now is part of it. Now there's people who swear by Jack Easterby in his past, but here he's become the guy that people would want out. And I talked to a guy, Dan, I asked who would be, if you had to make the decision on Watson or Easterby, if Cal McNair had to make that decision pre all this controversy, he said he believes that Cal would choose Jack Easterby over Deshaun Watson pre all this stuff happening.
He's Sean Salisbury, the morning host, Sean Salisbury Show, Sportstalk 790 in Houston. A couple other football items here. Arizona Cardinals got older. Did they get better?
I do think so. They got older, but Dan, I know youth matters, but I also believe that team's lacking something. It's just with Fitz there, it's helped, obviously, keep it together. Adding J.J. Watt, you're adding character. You're adding guys who may not give it to you for Hudson, the whole group. I actually do think they got better. And if Kyler Murray elevates his play, I think that they're a definite threat in the NFC West. The Rams are good, depending on what happens with Russ Wilson. But I do think, while older, now Dan, talk to me in 5 years, we'll have a different conversation. But in the urgent, I don't think there's any question that locker room will feel different and the performance will be better because they will raise the energy. These veterans they've added will raise the energy and performance of some of these young players. They did get better.
I know that the Bears and Seahawks didn't want the information brought out that I reported on what they offered for Russell Wilson, but it is out there. I'm just curious, though, Sean. I don't understand why the Seahawks, John Schneider, will sit down with the Bears GM Ryan Pace and listen to a trade offer. As Peter King said last hour, well, maybe it's just, professional courtesy there. Okay, professional courtesy, and you're going to listen to a trade offer for Russell Wilson, and then you don't counter anything. So what was the purpose of that? That's the disrespect of it. If I'm going to listen to your offer, professional courtesy, don't I at least owe you something as a response back to you?
Yeah, I made an offer. Could you at least counter say, hey, listen, we like it. Could you add 2 more picks? Right, Dan, here's the wife. Like, I'm not there, but my thought is the reason why he's entertaining the offer, because they would be interested if it was something they couldn't refuse. Now, I've said, you work your whole career to find a guy like Russ Wilson or Deshaun Watson or Patrick Mahomes' player. Why do I want to give him up only to try and find it again? And the Bears, they haven't got that quarterback position right, Dan, for forever. And if you had a chance to give up 3 ones and Seattle would have taken it, you jump all over that Russ Wilson thing because there's no guarantee with the picks. But yeah, I personally think if I was Chicago, you know what I do, Dan? I call back and I say, well, what if I added another 2nd round pick or added a 2nd round pick to this or another player and see if you could actually get Schneider say, oh, you wanted me to counter? Of course. But Dan, to me,
I would throw in Andy Dalton. He just got there. Yeah, I'd say
send the red rifle or the red pop gun or the red cannon, whatever you want to call him. I'm with you. Offer what you want. And could you imagine though, what it instantly does for the Bears? If Russell Wilson was in uniform for them, I get why Seattle's not, but I believe, like the Texans, if Seattle got an offer they couldn't refuse, you have to consider it. A counter offer would be nice if you're Seattle. And if you don't want to, then don't answer the phone and don't discuss trades if you're not interested in taking a trade.
Great to talk to you, Sean. Have a great weekend and strap in there.
Yeah, I got the roller coaster double ride strapped in. By the way, you didn't want to talk Final Four today, Dan? I thought that's, I mean, brackets, none of that. No, who you got winning it real quick?
I don't know.
You don't?
No.
I've seen your jump shot. Or you probably saving it.
I got an hour and a half before I have to make it official.
Oh, my bad. That's right. I'm cutting into your prediction late in the show. Bad.
How are my Houston Cougars doing?
They're really, really good. They're going to play Illinois for a trip to the Final Four. There you go. Kelvin Sampson will have them ready to play.
Okay. And Sean was a good basketball player in high school.
Yeah. Yeah. It was. Well, the fish story gets bigger. It was.
No, but you were. What did you average in high school?
25 and a half points.
Okay.
I was physical though, nasty on the glass, man.
Where?
Mad hops, all that. Now I can't jump higher. You can slide a piece of paper under my vertical leap barely.
You were Tyler Hansbrough before Tyler Hansbrough.
I was the Jack Sigma of Orange Glen High School.
All right. I like that. Yeah.
The Jack Sigma of Orange Glen High School. Yeah. It's good to be on.
Hey, did they retire your jersey in high school?
My football jersey. I cannot believe my baseball and basketball jersey aren't hanging in there. There's going to be a problem because that's as close to any other jersey retirement I'll ever get other than possibly the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Maybe.
How many touchdown passes you throw your senior year?
I have no idea. No clue. I can tell you how many points I scored. Football is Dan, I don't know. I can't name 8 completions in high school, but I can tell you every jump shot, dunk, and home run I hit. I can. I don't know anything about football. Maybe I want to forget it, but it's good to be on.
No, because you look, you went to USC. You were one of the more highly recruited quarterbacks in the country.
Yeah.
I mean,
long time ago, brother.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Yes, Seton.
Do we need to start a movement at like Escondido High or wherever to get? Excuse me. Orange Glen High. Yeah. Orange Glen High to get
Reggie Bush was Escondido.
Right.
No, he was Helix. Okay?
Oh, Helix High. Where Bill Walton and Brian Sipe went to.
And I remind Bill Walton all the time when I see him that I passed him on the all-time San Diego County scoring list. Okay, and I did. Now, I don't know who's better, the big redhead or me, as far as basketball goes.
In high school?
Probably Walton, just a hunch.
Okay.
But, yeah, Orange Glen Pay, we got to start. The groundswell's got to retire the basketball jersey. Great to be on
Thank you, Sean.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
That's Sean Salisbury. And, by the way, I joke with Sean all the time. Sean was a great high school quarterback, All-American, went to USC.